welcome to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I am your host, excuse me, Wize, and today's guest points to a foundation most people overlook when they chase bigger, faster, stronger. He's a chiropractor, high-impact speaker, founder of YourPostureProgram.com, and one of the clearest voices on how posture influences more than your back. It impacts your brain, your mindset, and your ability to lead. Whether you're dealing with brain fog, fatigue, tension from screen time, or you just can't show up at your best anymore, Dr. Brett is here to help you align your body and mind so you can help perform fully. Let's welcome Dr. Brett Hill to Stuck in My Mind podcast. Hello.
Well, it's good to be here. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for being a guest. But Dr. Brett, you spent years helping people fix posture. When did you first see how much posture was impacting performance, clarity, and resilience?
Yeah, it's something where originally I started a practice coming out of chiropractic school because I had done some neurology training and looked a little deeper and really thought, I'm going to impact the world and help people in a much more effective way. So I've always had this mindset of I'm going to do it differently. It's not come in, get a 2-minute adjustment, come out, and then come back, keep coming back. I wanted to solve it. I want to do things differently of like, well, let's get you better so you don't ever come back, and we get you better faster. And so what I found is a lot of the root problem things related to similar core weaknesses. People had neck tension or headaches or jaw pain, and they had also a corresponding knee problem or lower back issues. When I realized, well, why do you have this lower back problem coming back? Why do you have this neck tension always there? And I realized that sitting at a desk, they kept compensating in these same ways. And as their body was just adapting to what they were doing, they kept having these same weak patterns, which again, their headaches would come back or their neck tension. And so when we gave them specific and simple exercises, whether it be balance control and like head positioning things, it's not huge grand things where people think, oh yeah, I got to sit up and pull my shoulders back. It's much simpler than that in a sense of just being able to feel and control our daily postural tone. But a lot of people didn't know what that was. And so as we found these consistent patterns, we realized, you know what, let's simplify this for people. Everybody is seeming to have these same patterns. Let's create a program that can take them through, fix this problem, and help them feel the control. Because most people compensate, don't actually do it correctly by just saying, oh yeah, I need to pull my shoulders back. That's not it at all. And so we found as we got people to do it, they got better. And it was amazing. You do it, you get better. So then we decided, how can we help more people? And that's where we started to take this online.
So yeah, you founded your PostureProgram.com and as a digital solution. What motivated you to move beyond the clinic?
Well, as what I found is I was just busy myself with these clients, and I can only do so much. And I had an assistant that would do the exercises, but then I was still limited. And so brought on another chiro, and it just felt like, I want to help more people, but I don't want to become that clinic where it's, okay, I'll see you for 2 minutes because it's all I have the time for. And we'll pass you off or, just keep coming back, because I was finding I was getting busier, but people needed that time to really feel that control, get that awareness to get at the root of the problem and some of the other unique things we do here. And I was just like, in order to help more people by doing this online, where then we coach them on these exercises, it's different than, a lot of people would come in the office and say, oh yeah, I looked up on YouTube this exercise or this one. I'm like, okay, it's good. Exercise is great and doing those is great. But what we're trying to get you to connect with is a lot different than just go and do an exercise that you see on a video, because your brain will be compensating in those. And so it drew me to help more people, because growing up, my mom had a lot of health issues, and I thought, you know what, this is what I'm going to do is solve all our problems. I thought I'd go into medical world and realized, you know, it wasn't just another medication for this and another medication that caused this other problem. I wanted to help at a deeper level for the chronic things that we're seeing and dealing with, and that's what drew me to chiropractic, and that's what drew me to take this online. Is, you know, we can help more people get at the root of some of these problems, so that you're not spending a fortune continually going to chiro or physio or other things. Let's change your patterns of daily movement by creating these simple changes. You can make a big impact long term in where you want to be 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. It'll be a huge difference than if you keep in these same patterns.
What was one of the early aha moments when you realized shifting posture could dramatically change how someone thought and felt?
Well, you know, I found we're kind of ingrained into getting these quick fixes.
Yeah.
You know, we want to know, what's that big thing that's going to make me all the money? What's the pill that's going to make me lose all this weight? And there's never just that quick answer, quick scheme. And so I found, like, I was giving people these difficult things because I would test it on myself. I would do these exercises or these trainings, and I realized, man, if I just feel that a little differently, I can control this so much better. And I've always been one on like any sport I could play, I would play. An athlete growing up, and just paying attention to what my body's doing. And I found people were struggling to do these things, and so I had to simplify it, break it down into smaller segments of, let's just feel this. Just try to feel this one thing. Connect your brain to this small muscle in the body, and then from there we can progress to, okay, let's correct this. And there's a moment when I was, you know, focusing on a pain area. Someone came in with like a shoulder problem, and they've been lots of places before. I was like, okay, there's something else going on here. Um, if we don't address and look at the whole body, we're going to miss that. And sometimes it's easy to get focused just on the pain. We've always tried to look at the whole body, but looking at you know, getting them to be able to move their head and their shoulder better was the kind of the goal initially. But we had to address that whole posture system to see this change in their ability. You know, they couldn't work out anymore. They were told, well, you're just going to have to live with this. There's nothing really, we can't find anything wrong beyond this. And so as we addressed the postural system and got them to move better and control things better, their shoulder and neck mobility improved as well. And looking at the whole body, not just at that one area that they're having an issue. And it really is integrated into our whole body. You know, posture is one of the first things we learn and develop as a child. When they have tummy time and they lift their head up and they're looking at the horizon, we develop these spinal curves, and then we start to get this core strength to resist gravity. And once that develops, then we start getting speech developing, fine motor control, other things in our brain that are developing, but that's kind of foundational. And then when we sit so much, we start to lose that again. And so it kind of, with the neurology training I had, kind of going back to that initial development and the brain, and how it develops in our frontal lobes and things. I won't get too nerdy because it can go down a big rabbit hole, but there was so much with it that we're losing as we get older and we're on devices, that, you know, trying to address the root of people's problems. They're chronically tense in the shoulders and chronically tense right here at the base of the skull. Well, we're sitting looking at a screen constantly, and it just micro compensations that wear us down. We found we just got better results, and we started to help see people empowered to take care of it on their own after that point.
In today's world of tech, man, laptops, phones, kids gaming, how are these habits creating hidden loads that erodes resilience and clarity?
Yeah, so one of the things that's really interesting, and we see in at youth, especially like gaming for hours on end, or on a phone or device, on social media, when we change our physical loading against gravity. So if I'm sitting in a chair, my spine doesn't have to get that feedback to the brain and that frontal lobe, which that frontal lobe area is one of the biggest things we need to develop early on as a child to help us have good decision making, have higher center learning, problem solving skills. What's also important is when we move, we fire this prefrontal cortex, so part of that area of our brain. So when we're sitting, we're not only offloading the joints so that gravity is not causing this effect in our musculoskeletal system to give that feedback to the frontal lobe, but we're usually also we're very immobile, so we're just in one position. So without movement, we don't get activation to the nervous system, and we don't get blood flow back into the muscle and joint system. And so what happens is this area of our frontal lobe, that's for good decision making and being able to reason and all those things, starts to shut down. Now we can have what's called a sympathetic escape or a limbic escape. So we can have more anxiety or not be able to see the big picture. So we might react when, especially as a child, it's like parents say, time to get off that game and come for dinner. And they're like, well, I just got to play. And it's like, well, we got to get off now. And they're just so ingrained, this area to reason of like, oh, I can pause this and go eat. It's kind of shut down. It's just like they change the way the brain fires. And we can see that also in the way we feel, or the way we can see someone who may have anxiety or depression or has just tired, they hold it in their body. That directly correlates to how we feel inside and how our brain is processing things. And so our ability to feel energized or to feel confident about ourselves can be really impacted by the way we hold our posture. Someone, as a speaker going on stage, they say have a Superman posture, because that affects your confidence, how you appear, but also how you sound and how you're going to come across. So rather than just do that when we need to appear to people, why don't we do that all the time? Because it really affects how we feel mentally about ourselves, that confidence that we feel, and the energy that we feel to be able to accomplish whatever we want.
So your program emphasizes equipment-free routines and exercise that all users can do anywhere. Why that approach, and how do you keep it practical for busy high achievers?
Well, I have 4 kids, and I started my practice right out of school. And so we had 4 kids under 4 years. So my oldest was just turned 4. We had a 1-year-old that wasn't even 2 yet. He turned 2 in another month, and we just had twins.
Mm.
So it was busy. I was waiting on getting my licensing for just after graduation to practice where I'm at now, and was looking to start my own business. So it was very busy, and it was busy for many years as I grew the clinic, the practice, and things. We didn't have a lot of time for going to the gym and working out. My wife was busy. I was busy. It was just always go, go, go. And so I immediately saw the need of doing little things to stay active, little things throughout the day to try to take care of health. And so in creating this, and most high achievers, business individuals, families, parents with kids, it's hard to find time for yourself. It's always go, go, go. There's always another message to respond to. There's always something. So we tried to create this because studies have found, even if we go work out for an hour, but then we sit for 9-10 hours in a day with looking at a screen or something like that, it offsets. It's as if we didn't get the benefits of exercising.
Wow.
So we need to keep active in movement throughout our day. And so we designed this in a way that you do one exercise in the morning, or do a little activity for 1 minute to break up sitting. So we recommend people, every time you get a message or an email or something different in your workday, that it reminds your brain, okay, I'm going to stand up for 30 seconds and work on my balance, or I'm going to work on the squat or the rainbow exercise we give people, or different things that are simple, but it kind of reignites the brain to wake up. It activates the spinal muscles that we haven't been using, which are huge for that frontal lobe area, and we'll actually be more efficient in our work. We'll be more attuned to little cues going on, and be more efficient with our time and getting things done. So by making these little things in our day, it also reminds our brain, what does that feel like? And we start to build these neural connections, because that's really what it's about. It's a use it or lose it principle. So as we build these neural connections, it becomes more automatic. We start to recognize when we're not holding those positions more, and it becomes easier and easier and easier. If we just do it, okay, let's plan 30 minutes in the morning, you can do that if you're still constantly trying to use the muscles throughout the day. But a lot of times we just do it then and we forget the rest of the day, it's not going to be that effective. And so we created these little bits to make it simple for people and also more neuroadaptive.
So how do you coach someone to sustain the posture change, not just physically, but as part of the identity and leadership presence?
A big part of that postural tone that we hold is asking people, what do you want to be in 5 years, in 1 year, in 10 years? Because if we continue on, a lot of the people that are just busy and go, and they want that quick fix, it never happens, because they just burn out, or they just keep going expecting a different result. And so if they want to still be playing with their kids or have that time, like, what is their end goal? What is their really functionally, what do they see themselves doing or wanting to be able to do? Because people can live with pain. You can still live with the headaches and take the pills, or you can still live with the neck tension. But it's like, yeah, you know what? I didn't go out with my friends because I had a headache that night. Or, you know what? I avoid doing this sport or doing this activity because it just get too tense. I know I'm going to pay for it the next day. So those kinds of things, if we want to live with that, we can. But if we actually want to live life to the fullest, enjoy those things that shouldn't be holding us back, if that's our end goal, then the little things we do day in, day out today will help us achieve that. And if we're feeling better about what we can do, if going skiing or going on that hike, whatever it is, recharges you, makes you feel like, that's where what I want to be doing, then we're going to show up and be there for a family or for work or whatever it is to be more successful in all aspects of our life. But if we don't have the foundational health to do that, doesn't matter, how many pills we take eventually, or how much money we make, we're not going to be able to enjoy those things that are ultimately most important to us if we don't take care of our health. I tell people all the time that come in the clinic and they're like, I don't know if I want to, afford that or do this. I'm like, okay, if your car needed new tires, how quickly would we go and get new tires or get them replaced so we can still drive the car and get where we need to go? But our own health, it's like, okay, if we need to do these little steps now so that we can enjoy going on that hike or going and doing those things with our kids,
yeah,
we seem to put ourselves last. And it's like, I don't want to invest in myself, but we're not looking at that end goal. We're looking at, I can live with it. I can still kind of get by. But eventually we won't be able to do those things. So it's the majority of the things we see, these chronic problems build up over years and they take a while to get there. It's little changes. If we can make them now, will really help us in the future.
Now that you mentioned the future, where is the conversation around posture and nervous system health heading in the next 3 to 5 years? And how do you see yourself adapting with your program?
Yeah, I like that. And I'm always looking for new technology, new things to help people. One of the biggest things with posture, people don't really know. They aren't aware of, well, I should improve my posture, but they don't know what that posture is right now because it's become their new posture. So that's one of the things we use is an app where people take a picture from the front and the side and they submit it to us. And it's secure. So we'll go over those results, we'll analyze it, put dots, and measure it. And we have a video call like this where we say, hey, this is what we see. This is what it might relate to, some of your health issues, or we counsel them on a very thorough consult on, hey, these are the things you're dealing with. This is where posture can be impacting that, and we can see that here. This is what we propose. So I see more things making it more aware of what should that feel like, whether it be with technology things, who knows, with AI, where we're going to be coming up with things that allow us, I mean, the meta glasses, people are doing things without looking down. That changes the whole center of gravity of our body with our ear canals, our head, or our neck from looking down at a phone, looking into a screen. Having it upright has a big impact on the rest of our body. So I see technology having an impact in recognizing how posture plays a role in our health and actually making it easier for us to work and remind us on these little things as we're becoming more aware of the micro stressors of posture, screens, on not just our physical body, but what it does to our overall health, our breathing, our organ function, anxiety and depression, things like that. So.
So for listeners stuck in mindset work but ignoring their body, what's the first posture check you'll tell them to make today?
Yeah, I love you ask that because, and that's one of the things, we love to offer for yourself or any of your listeners is being able to get a free gift at the end of this is 3 exercises to start today. 3 things that you can do that's going to help you get aware of that posture in a subtle way. The body follows the head. So the first thing we work with people is getting awareness of the head position. So whether you're sitting there, or I always use a standing desk when I'm at the computer, but focusing on like a string pulling up. So a lot of dancers have better posture because they're always told to be tall.
Yeah.
Most people are seen, they're told to tuck their chin back. It's not very comfortable. I don't actually like that exercise. We want to do a combination of, think of your head pulling tall as you keep your ear, eye, and nose level. So we don't want to pull tall and tilt up. We don't want to tuck our chin and compress the neck, but we want to pull up and bring our ears back over the shoulder without leaning in the spine. So the exercise you're going to see in those videos that we give out as a free gift for your listeners, we actually show it laying face down. So you have more resistance to gravity, and we lengthen the neck and we focus on bringing the ears behind the shoulders. And if you do it right, you're going to feel tension in your lower back. And this is why posture is so important, is because movement of my head affects the whole spinal muscles and the core down into the lower back. When we compensate and cheat, most people will stick their chin out or they'll arch the lower back and lean everything. And that's the toughest thing with posture, is recognizing that we're moving correctly without compensating. And so I do encourage yourself and your listeners to get those videos because it'll kind of coach you on those little subtleties. But that's the first thing. The body follows the head. So focus on that head being long and bringing the ears over the shoulders. The second thing that we show you is the pelvic tilt. So it relates to the lower abdominals, pelvic floor muscles, and TA muscle. And these muscles are all about avoiding that kind of compensation. So when people think of pulling their shoulders back or bringing their head back, they arch their lower back. So this helps to pull the lower core in. It should lift us taller and kind of be this lower support below our look good abdominal muscles. So it's a simple exercise, laying on your back, just breathing in, sticking your stomach out. And then as you breathe out, thinking of your belly button and just below your belly button, pulling into the floor and upwards towards your chin a little bit. So again, those videos kind of describe a little bit better. It's kind of hard on audio and just standing here. But those are the 2 things we start in our program with everybody. And then the third thing that combines it all is balance control. So when we see, most people don't even notice, but when we do our posture analysis, we see a lot of times people will flare their feet out, or they have this wide stance and their feet are really angled out. And when I see that, I know they're really compensating. Their head's dropping forward because what's happening, their body is naturally adapting to try to increase their efficiency in just standing upright. And so it does that by having a wider base because it has a weaker core system in that balance, and it's not centered up properly. So just by standing with your feet close together, pointed more straight, will help activate your posture system. So we encourage people to work on balancing on one leg, holding that head up and back, engaging those core muscles of the pelvic floor, which again is better to watch on those videos that we'll give you. But using those and using a wall, like if you stand against a door or a wall, and then have your butt, your shoulders, and your head on the wall as if there was a board against you, and then just slightly come off that. Try to get used to that positioning, because most people, when they balance, their head's too far forward, their shoulders are leaned back, and their hips are far forward. So it gives you that awareness of where your body should be. So having those subtle cues to help you feel, oh, this is where I should be, is really building that neuroplasticity. So that brain's awareness of, oh, I thought I was in good posture, but my head needs to be here, and oh, my hips have to go that far back. I tell people that are in poor posture, I say, if you feel like you're sticking your butt out when you're doing like balance or these other exercises, you're probably in the right position, because for you, you're usually leaning your hips so far forward that it feels weird to bring them into alignment. So use a wall or a door frame. And those are the first three things I would say. Start today, as you're getting your coffee ready, just balance for a little bit. In the morning, do one, like 5 reps of the head lift doesn't take very long. And then later in the day, work on just that pelvic tilt as you're sitting in your chair. So these things we can do, the more we do them in throughout our day, the more we'll start to adapt to that and get control. And it becomes easier and easier. And that's what we work through in this program, is getting people to start to feel each individual muscle. And then we combine it into more difficult moves where they have to control them all at the same time, but they can feel that strength through their spine. You can feel it in every movement they do. It becomes automatic.
Awesome. So you help leaders weave posture into their culture, team performance, and brand presence, not just their own body.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure I heard you correctly, because it kind of cut out for a second.
So I will ask you again. So how do you help leaders weave posture into their culture, team performance, and brand presence, not just their own body?
Yeah. So, posture becomes what we hold ourselves all the time. So as I've been watching here on the podcast, I'll see you sit up a little taller, and then we slowly start to fatigue a little bit, and it happens to everybody. It's because it's the way we adapt, and then we remind ourselves and hold it up a little bit taller. And so I think being aware that most of us think, oh yeah, I should sit taller. But when we understand posture is more impactful in our health than we realize, when it's like, gets at the root. It's a simple way to say you want to be healthier, fix your posture. But if you really believe, like, increasing posture is going to help you breathe better. Breathing better is going to help you think or feel more confident, and it's going to help you think better. By setting things up like a stand-up desk, by, at the front desk in my clinic here with my staff, I'm always encouraging them to change from standing, sitting, going in the back, doing some exercise throughout their day, just on a little break, making it part of what we do all the time. So when people are driving in a car, I say, every time you come to a stoplight, sit up tall, push your head into the chair, and just take a deep breath. Feel that posture throughout your day, and then recognize, what does that help you feel as well? That helps me feel confident, helps me feel like I can de-stress, recognizing that correlation in our daily lives. And then also, do it with your kids. Recognize that kids are on devices all the time. So, I encourage parents, do the balance and throw a ball back and forth with your kid. Challenge yourselves. Use those postural things. I'll tell my kids when they are gaming, Okay, every time you die or this level's done, I want you to do 10 push-ups. And so they're getting and weaving in activities or posture into their daily life that becomes a culture of recognizing this is important. This is something that we just do. And it can be as simple as that when we have a mindset of focusing on what am I doing with my posture and my movements, because it will relate to how we feel and show up with daily things.
Okay. What's your biggest piece of advice for someone whose posture, resilience, and mind performance aren't aligned yet, but they're ready to shift?
I would say don't be too overwhelmed. Don't beat yourself up. Take it little bits at a time, because everybody does it, especially those that have a poor resilience and poor awareness of that. Even like I said, we're sitting here being on a podcast and doing computer work. It's hard. It's hard to focus on the posture. You're going to, in 30 seconds, fall back and be like, oh, I lost it already. That doesn't mean you can't change. You can't get to that level. Just like posture is a slow thing to deteriorate. It's not like yesterday you were good and now today you're just terrible in posture. When we see people, it's a process. It's just the body's adaptation to what we've been telling it to do. So if you do little things and it's like in 30 seconds, you got to remind yourself to sit up again, relax the shoulders, keep doing that day in, day out, because these little things really do matter. They really do add up. Because we for example, we'll have a patient where we'll do an assessment of their posture at the beginning, and then we'll do it midway, and then we'll do it at the end, and we can put them side by side and compare. And they're like, wow, I didn't realize in 10 weeks that I changed that much. Like I could feel myself improving, but that's a huge difference. They don't notice it because they're doing the little things every day. And at the end, it's like, that was a big change. And they can feel it in their workouts. They can feel it in, when we hear, oh yeah, I was able to drive the 10-hour drive to, man, to work away from home. And I was just focused on all those exercises you gave me. And I didn't feel the pain or the chronic stiffness getting home where I'd be laid out for a day. So they notice these things, but it happens over slow periods of time. So don't give up. Focus on those little things, because it will make a big change in the end.
Definitely. So how do you integrate mindset work and posture work together in your own life and coaching?
Yeah. Well, I'm not perfect at it. When I'm working on something that I'm just like focused in, and it's usually end of the day, and I'm like slouched back, and I can tell I just have the brain fog of like I'm not getting anything productively done, and I just want to go and watch a YouTube video on something, just random, aimlessly. Like, all right, I need to get up, and I'm going to go do one exercise, and it just like recharges me. It wakes me up and it gets me going. But that mindset it's not something that's always going to be top notch. And so it also, like nutrition and hydration, those are important things as well. When we're more fatigued, we're going to feel it in the way we lean into the desk and we slouch, and we're going to be less patient. I notice I'm less patient with my kids when I have not focused on, and it seems too simple, but when I haven't focused on my posture, I haven't focused on like taking the time to be tall, relax, posture isn't being tall here. It's being tall through the spine, but relaxed throughout the system. When we have good posture, we actually are aware of our body when we're holding that stress or anxiety or that tension. So when we pay attention to what our body's doing and this postural control, it allows me to kind of reset, to be present with my kids. They're one of the most important things to me. And so when I get home, a lot of times I'll put my phone down, and I've left it at the office sometimes just because I'm not always on my device. And so being present with people, really connecting with them, can really be an important aspect of having that mindset of not just always being on a device. really helps to kind of take away this idea of okay, I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to be present with people. I'm going to let that stress and anxiety and other things where it's just constantly answering an email or a message or whatever it is. There's always more to do. Taking a break from that can be huge, and then feeling what is my body doing really helps to reset some things. So those are some things that I do.
Mm. So if a listener took a physical change, if the listener took one physical change from this episode and committed for 90 days, what would you want them to focus on and why?
Yeah, and again, I would say, if physical change would be do those 3 exercises at the end. Go and just get the free exercise, because if you can just start there, that's the simplest thing you can do.
Mm.
And then, as you're focused on those exercises, I would say every now and then take a deep breath in. Think of being tall. Use those head muscles and relax your shoulders out. We don't really know how to dissociate this. Oh yeah, hold the body tall. Okay, I'm tired, and then we just slouch forward. Okay, I got to fix my posture, and we are way overworking it. It's simple, but we should be able to relax that. Hold posture tall and confident in a relaxed way. Most people are working too hard, and they're actually stressed about holding their posture. So they fatigue really quickly because they're compensating. They're using their shoulders, they're using these big muscles. And so I would say, take a deep breath, relax, hold your head tall, and just pay attention to how that feels. Do those simple little exercises, even if there's you don't think you have time for those. Just stand tall and balance for 30 seconds, 5 times throughout your day, 3 times throughout your day, something. It will start to make a difference. That's what I'd recommend.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Brett, we've come to the show where you get the spotlight and you get to plug away and let everybody know where they can find you, your social media platforms, whatever you want to share. Here you go.
Sure. Awesome. Well, like I said, I sometimes don't always use my phone or have it on me. I'm not a big social media guy. So the best way to connect with us and to get this information, just go to yourpostureprogram.com/videos, and you'll be able to get these videos that we talked about. And then from there, we offer daily tips and things in your email inbox if you want, and you can opt in from there. So that would be the best way to connect, and we'd love to help you. If you have any questions or want a free consult, you can reach out to us from that page, and we more than happy to help you or answer questions you have. So thank you very much, and appreciate your listeners and yourself.
Thank you for being a guest, man. This was great. I appreciate your time. Yeah, everyone, this is definitely going to be in the descriptions. You'll be able to have a link to his website, so check the descriptions for the link. Thank you, Dr. Brett. I appreciate your time, and I love the fact that you were able to come and stop and share some great information with people.
Well, and I hope it's beneficial to you and your listeners, and yeah, sit up tall, and it will help you in little ways that you might not realize, but help clear the mind, help relax. So pay attention to that. Hopefully it was helpful for you today as well.
Awesome. Thank you. But don't leave just yet. Let me close out the show and we'll chat a little bit off the air. But thank you once again for being such a great guest. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thanks so much.
All right, everybody. Another great episode. If Dr. Brett's insights struck the chord, go check out yourpostureprogram.com and see how his system can support you, whether you're working from home, leading teams, or preparing for a high performance. And if you know someone who's hustling hard but feeling stuck in their body, brain, or presence, share this episode with them, because real breakthrough starts with your body, brain, and purpose aligned. Stay strong, stay aligned, stay wise. You know your boy Wize does it. Peace out.